Hey everyone, NSX here. This video is going to be about the truth behind common NSX modifications. So I've been in the NSX game for a very long time. I purchased my first NSX in 2006, and over the years I've gone through a total of 8 NSXs. I've owned coupes, targas, pop-ups, fixed headlights, NA1, NA2, and even a few of those $450,000 in Arties that everyone's been raving about. You name it, I've owned it. One thing that I've learned from this experience is that it's nearly impossible to find a 100% stock NSX. Out of the 8 NSXs that I've owned, every single one has had a modification. Now, I'm not saying mods are bad. I have mods on my current NSX now, but what I am saying is that I've noticed a specific set of mods that almost every NSX owner has done to their car. It's almost as if someone wrote a book titled NSX Modifications for Dummies and handed it out with every NSX purchase. So in this video, I'm going to point out the most common modifications that you'll find on almost every single NSX out there and give you my thoughts on each one. Also, if your NSX doesn't have any of these mods, you can check the links below in the description to find out where to buy them. First up, JDM Honda badges. Why do people still put JDM Honda badges on their NSXs? I think I started doing this with my Integra Type R back in the early 2000s, and I did this with my first NSX, but thinking back now, it does seem a little silly. Initially, you try to do this to stand out from everyone else, but then eventually everyone else has the same JDM NSXR badge, and now you're just like everyone else. I got tired of explaining to people the differences between Honda and Acura and how Acura is owned by Honda. In other countries, there's no Acura, blah, 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 blah. You've all had this conversation with people, and it gets really, really tiring. Also, it's not very easy removing an OEM badge from a car, especially the NSX. The whole backside of the badge has double-sided tape that's super sticky and strong, and there's pins attaching the emblem to the underside of the bumper. So to do it right, you have to remove your whole damn bumper. I mean, that's not an easy task. I've seen so many NSX owners use a screwdriver, credit cards, and even fishing line to try to remove the emblem, and more times than not, there's always blemishes left behind. There's also a slippery slope with this mod. If you're anal like me, you'll have to change the emblems in the rear, the center caps, the airbag, the intake manifold cover for some models, and even the cassette radio door. The cost comes out to almost $1,000 for a functionally useless mod. Next up, the NSXR spoiler. This functional carbon fiber deck lid comes from the JDM only NSXR. Down. As with many OEM Honda products, the spoiler is of extremely high quality and also very expensive. It costs about $10,000 new. Obviously, not many people are going to want to spend $10,000 on a spoiler, especially for an NSX. So there are companies out there that have copied the design of the NSXR, and they sell them between $500 to $1,000. There are two companies that come to mind when I think of this spoiler, Downforce and Saibon. They both copied the original design of the NSXR, but Downforce's version is higher quality than Saibon's. I've had a Saibon NSXR spoiler before, and it's utter crap. I guess you just get what you pay for. Now, if you're going to copy the NSXR styling by getting the spoiler, do it the right way. Make sure you paint your side mirrors black and you have a black top. That's how it is on the NSXR, and it looks amazing. Also, if you have a 2002 to 2005 NSX, be sure to remove the small sub-spoiler that's underneath your wing. It's drilled on, so you have to patch up the holes and repaint it, but it's worth it as the NSXR spoiler was not designed with this piece, and it may affect the aerodynamics of the car. Also, please, 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 do not put the NSXR sticker on your spoiler. You don't have an NSXR, this isn't a Civic, we don't want Type R stickers on our cars if they're not Type Rs. When you're uninstalling your original spoiler, after you remove the bolts underneath, try not to pull the spoiler too fast because there's double-sided tape that attaches your spoiler to your trunk lid. So you can use a credit card or a pry tool to try to separate the glue as you're lifting the spoiler up slowly. You don't want to pull too hard because you're going to crack the spoiler. I bought an NSX before where the original spoiler was cracked on the edges because somebody had one of these aftermarket spoilers and they removed it without caution. Next up, the 2002 to 2005 NSX Rear Valance. Acura refreshed the NSX in 2002 with the redesigned rear lower valance. The mesh on the rear valance modernizes the look of the car, and the cutouts are perfect for the oval exhaust tips that are available on the 2002 to 2005 NSX. Also, its appearance makes the car look lower. This valance looks great compared to the previous design because it goes with the lines of the entire car. The 2002 Plus NSX has updated side skirts and door caps, as well as an updated front bumper and headlights. If you look at the side profile of a 2002 NSX, you can follow the lines of the rear valance all the way through the side of the car and leading up to the front bumper. This is one continuous line that makes the car look smooth. So if you want to take advantage of the visual aesthetics of the Valance, please complete the whole package. Most NSX owners will buy just the rear valance, costs about $1,000 with paint, and then that's it. For the ones that go the extra effort, they'll buy the rocker panels and door caps to go with it, but even then this still looks incomplete, as the lines of the car doesn't go all the way to the front. If you're gonna do it right, do it as Honda intended with the whole 2002-2005 refresh, where there's one smooth transition from the back to the front of the car. So if you don't appreciate the look of your 91 to your 01 NSX, and you want to buy this rear valance, and you want to modernize your car, do the whole thing. Get the rear valance, get the side caps, get the rocker panels, and get the front end, which includes the headlights, the bumpers, etc. Otherwise, your car is going to look like it's having an identity crisis, where you have the 02 rear sides and then you have a 91 front end. If you do change your bumper out, please make sure you get the 2002 plus triangular piece that holds the center of the rear valance in place, and do not throw away your original one. This piece is not interchangeable between 91s to 2002s, and 91 is discontinued. So if you ever need to convert back to it, it's going to be tough. I learned this the hard way. Next up is the Science of Speed Rapid Shift Knob. This shift knob is a copy of the NSX Type S, but with some key differences. It's made out of aluminum instead of titanium, and it's much cheaper than the OEM piece. The shift knob does replicate the Type S shift knob in weight and dimensions, but to get the full benefits of this style shift knob, you should also get the NSX Type S shifter, which provides for a shorter throw. But then you also have to get a compatible shift boot to go with it. Science of Speed thought of this beforehand, and they also make a Type S shift knob copy that works with an OEM shift boot, and this is the most effective solution for NSX owners that want the updated knob but don't want to pay big money. So this is why I imagine everybody has this version, and to me it just looks completely out of place. So if you opt to complete the whole setup with a shifter, the shift boot, and either the NSX Type S shift knob or the Science of Speed shift knob, make sure you get a compatible boot that goes with it. If you have a 5-speed, you can get the NA1 NSXR, which has a 5-speed pattern, or you can get the 02 NSXR shift boot, but that has mesh and fake carbon fiber. So it looks a little tacky. If you don't want it, you should get the NA1 one. If you have a 6-speed, you can get the Type S or Zanardi shift boot, which has a 6-speed pattern on there, and the leather is the same exact one as the stock shift boot. When you install the shift boot, please be sure to push the knob through the boot, past the lip, and use a zip tie to attach the boot around the knob from below. This is how it's supposed to look from the factory. I've seen many owners where they put the Type S shift knob right on top of the shift boot and they don't push that through, and then it looks completely out of place. Next up is the Momo tuner steering wheel. This is a very popular wheel among many car enthusiasts, especially NSX owners. Why? Because it almost looks identical to the NSX Type R steering wheel. I have no gripes about this wheel. It's functional, it's great, and it's pretty cheap. The unfortunate thing that NSX owners do is they remove the tuner lettering from the wheel to make it look like an NSXR steering wheel. Come on, are you serious? The Momo tuner wheel is a great wheel. Why would you want to make it look like the NSXR steering wheel? Be proud of what you have. I've noticed that many NSX owners originally buy the NRG quick release hub to go with the steering wheel, and I would highly advise against doing that. NRG is known to make low quality copycats of many products, and I wouldn't trust something as important as steering to a manufacturer like that. Don't cheap out on your NSX. If you want something high quality, I would recommend getting a Works Belt quick release, or if you don't need the quick release, as most people don't, get the Momo hub that's designed specifically for the wheel. The NSXR and Type S uses a variant of this hub, but it has a different surface texture. Next up, DC5 Integra Type R seats. Many NSX owners use the JDM DC5 Integra Type R seats in their NSXs. It's a great seat. It looks nice and is functional as the suede keeps you in place. The problem is it was designed for the Integra Type R and not the NSX. The seats are too wide, you have rubbing issues on your door panels and console, and they're also designed to recline, which is pretty pointless in the NSX. But if you really want to go this route, you can get the bright RO rails. They're compatible with these seats for the NSX. Next up, Science of Speed Endurolite / Pride V2 exhaust. It's almost as if NSXs came from the factory with these exhausts. I've removed quite a few of these from NSXs that I've purchased. It's a very popular item among NSX owners. It's probably due to the fact that it's one of the cheapest exhausts you can buy, which makes sense because they're just copies of the JDM brand Titech. Next up, JDM rear taillights. 91 to 2001 NSXs outside of North America had taillights with an embossed center logo, and the lamp itself has a darker tint. The turn signals also blink yellow, although they appear to be red, which is kind of cool. This mod is very popular with NSX owners, as it does make your car look different from all the other NSXs. Well, until everyone else does it. If you're going to do it right, please be sure to buy the darker tinted LED light. The LED is a very expensive piece. The last time I checked years ago, it was about $800 to $900 before shipping. If you get this, it complements your taillights really well because the red now matches completely from the bottom lamps to the top LED lights. I guess if your LED lights are going out, it would be worth it to get this JDM version. NSXR chassis bars. Now this is a fairly cost-effective and very functional mod. The NSXR comes with front chassis reinforcements from the factory to improve handling. Now this part is considered bolt-on, but for installation you have to cut the radiator shroud to make room for one of the bars. Most people remove the aftermarket parts in their car before selling it, but they forget to replace the radiator shroud, thus leaving two large holes where the bars used to go. So if you just bought an NSX and you see these two large holes in the radiator shroud in your front bumper, this is the reason why. Somebody had an NSXR chassis bar and they removed it without replacing the shroud before they sold it to you. So these are the most common NSX mods that I've seen over the years. If there's something that I missed, or if you don't agree with any one of these items, please leave a comment below. As always, thank you.